Ladies and boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about the one and only Turbo. Listen, boys and girls, there is not too many updates. There is some on my personal end, ladies and gentlemen. I will probably be hosting some kind of Twitter AMA in the future or something like that. I spoke to Turbo directly, so we might, in the very near future, set something up. I also will be joining the Turbo Discord community today. I have to see and get an invite link to that. We are also, ladies and gentlemen, hosting, raids very, very soon. So make sure you click the description, the top description, the first link to pretty much join the Discord and help us raid Robinhood posts, the CEO of Robinhood. And there's even one more guy that's also has to do with Robinhood, and he only has like 3,000 followers. So, we're going to be rating those three people's posts, and trust me, we will be seen. And who knows, it could be the difference between getting listed or not. I still think getting listed is inevitable, especially that Robinhood listed those terrible coins. But um, you know, uh, I believe it doesn't hurt to try and help the cause, right? So when we go to the market cap, ladies and gentlemen, coin market cap, and we go to Turbo, we can see we're back to 160 million market cap, 30 roughly million volume. Not the highest day in terms of volume, but that is fine. We are ranked 250, so we're holding around the 250 spot. I do think we will start reclaiming very, very soon, sooner than later. We can actually see, ladies and gentlemen, that we hit an all-time amount of holders, right? I told you that we would be recovering very, very quickly the moment it starts becoming green. And that's exactly what happened. We already broke all-time high for holders. And look, we just had a decent retracement, right? Nothing too crazy. If we go on the daily candles, right, we went up roughly 10% in a day, and by the time we close, we're up 8.5. So yeah, so it looks pretty solid. It looks pretty solid. We do have to pay attention to candle closes, but for me, this is going to be the turning point. I genuinely do believe this is going to be a turning point. Now, obviously, we need more data to reinforce what we believe. Like over here, even though right here, even though there was decent consolidation stuff, we were creating lower highs consistently when it came to candle closes, which then eventually obviously caused the sell-off because, like I said, the markets do not lie. Also, 99% of you are fantastic, but sometimes I see comments where people are either confused or just straight hating, where they say, they complain the coin is down. Yeah, things are not going to be going straight up, right? It's not a rocket that just goes straight up. The markets are more like a staircase. They're very, very exhausting mentally if you expect just a pump up. We will eventually be getting fantastic pump ups, but ladies and gentlemen, you have to realize, like, when we go to something like this, right, where we had a big weekly candle and another big weekly candle, those are very unorthodox and they only happen under certain circumstances, right? After long periods of consolidation, after massive news events, after, like during some type of altcoin season, the beginning of a bull run. That's the only time it really, really happens, right? So we can see from the bottom of here to its peak potential, you could have made about 8.5 times your money, right? If you bought at the bottom of the candle, sold at the top. And then we can see if you pretty much bought in September and held for a couple of weeks, roughly a month, right? You could have made a lot of money too if you hypothetically sold at the top, roughly 3.5 times your money. But you can see most of the time it's just choppiness. And then recently it's been a sell off. But, like I said, it doesn't, the big pumps and consistent pumps, they don't happen often because the market needs time to pretty much, think about it as like a catapult. It needs time to pull it back so it can actually sling it forward. Okay, and once it slings it forward, the cycle repeats. So there will be nice green pumps, there will be nice green recoveries over the next couple weeks. But I do expect, when altcoin season does happen, we probably will get 4 consecutive green candles, as we have historically seen it with coins, that it usually pumps roughly 4 weeks, and that's going to be the final time. Okay, that's going to be the final time where we pretty much pump super high, and after that, I believe bear season will be closer than further away. So yeah, I mean, we obviously will talk about selling points and everything in the future. Um, but at the moment, we just have to be patient. I do believe the worst is already way gone. Like we survived, the big sell off. We were growing in holders during the big sell off. Um, and now it's just the recovery phase. And trust me, once we get past the recovery phase, it's going to be the expansion phase and then pretty much altcoin season, right? So beautiful, beautiful times ahead. I know some people just like to hate in the comments. I mean, it doesn't really affect me at the end of the day. I'm gonna be honest. Trading is my passion, and you know, Turbo is roughly only like 13% of my portfolio at this point, while I have Caspa and other coins. So it doesn't really matter when people like talk crap. It's just kind of weird behavior, but that is okay. That is just the internet, ladies and gentlemen, right? Look, we do have to reclaim this 0.003 area, right? This is a very key support. Once we claim that, we have so much imbalance that we should just honestly fly kind of from 0.003 to 0.007 fairly quickly. Like it could even be within like 8 month span. We could have something very similar to what we had here, right? A quick pump, kind of sideways for 2 weeks, and then another pump, and that would be it. That would be it. I mean, like just within a month, we could recover all the price action. And I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Coins recover very quickly. Market makers, institutions, traders, people, everything. If they have a reason to be buying because they see green and they're going to be buying. A lot of investors, institutions, etc., they don't want to sell. Even for me, I bought some positions of Turbo, not much, but like up here, here, whatever the case was. I'm not selling for a loss. You think institutions are going to sell for a loss? You think the market makers are going to sell for a loss? You think people that have big money are going to sell for a loss? You think people that are well financially educated and emotionally stable will sell for a loss? No. No, 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 especially given the context of the market, right? I will talk about Bitcoin dominance in just a second because it's very important, but we know Bitcoin dominance is generally trending up, right? If the Bitcoin dominance was crashing and altcoins would be suffering, that would be very, very concerning. That means the whole market is just bleeding, like actually just like stabbed in the side, bleeding, you're dead in 2 minutes type stuff. But no, we are on track. Some things did pull back a little further. People thought maybe in April, May would be selling off. For me, it just things are delayed a little bit. I still think summer and the early fall is most likely where we're going to peak. But yeah, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to join Discord. Once again, it is very, very important for us to be a close and tight community. Remember, this is just the beginning of greatness. But yeah, that is it. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.